Pocket pistols, the most ineffective, worthless pieces of garbage you can carry. Or are they? In front of us are a series of pocket pistols chambered in the most popular pocket pistol carry cartridges in existence. We will be putting them through a series of different tests to find out if they are truly effective and which one does it best. But first, are these pocket pistols even lethal? I mean, we hear all the time about how ineffective they are, and people argue back and forth about what metric actually counts as lethal. And I'm certainly not claiming to know all the answers, but I'm assuming if they could get through a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, specifically on this test, then they will probably be lethal. Our first contender is the 380 ACP, and let me tell you, it is going to be one short video if the 380 can't make it through the plywood. I'd be pretty shocked, guy. Yep, it went straight through. Up next is the 32 ACP, and supposedly it's right behind the 380 in terms of power. I know this video is more about what the bullets do, but I'm just gonna say the Beretta 30X is a terrible pocket pistol. It's huge, it's heavy, it barely holds any rounds. I mean, there are so many better options out there, and there are some freaking small 32s out there as well. Much smaller hole, but yep, it went straight through. It looks pretty much identical to the 380. For those who like having their life depend on the rimfire, we have a long boy, the 22 WMR, 22 Magnum, same thing. And out of a rifle, this would easily be the most powerful cartridge on this list, but out of this NAA mini revolver, we're just gonna have to chronograph it later to see how powerful it actually is. Damn boy, that thing's got some kick. Well, not really, it kind of just rotates in your hand. That's pretty interesting. It looks like the bullet was actually keyholing maybe by the time it got to the plywood. 5 feet away, but that did not prevent it from going through. The 25 ACP is easily the smallest centerfire cartridge currently available. I mean, maybe ever designed. This thing is unbelievably small. I don't even know how they fit a primer in this thing. That's how small it is. Anyway, we will be using a Beretta 21A Bobcat to propel it, which is also freaking small, until you turn it sideways and realize that you have some girth in your hands. I guess that looks like a bigger hole than the 22 mag, to be expected, but oh, yep, it definitely went straight through. And finally, for those who like depending on rimfires again, we have the 22 LR, which is supposedly the weakest cartridge on this list. Anyway, not only is the NAA mini revolver a pocket pistol, it's also a belt buckle pistol, if you can believe it. But will it be lethal? That first shot was a little too close for my liking, but the second one came in good, and it looks like they're tracking a lot straighter than the 22 mag here, but let's turn it around. Oh, yep, they both went through. Unless you're one of the basement dwellers telling people otherwise, I think we can all agree that these bullets would at least be lethal. Definitely not toys, but shot placement is going to be critical. Question is if you were to hit something hard like bone or teeth.
Bone or teeth?
Bone or teeth. There are kids watching, geez. Anyway, would any of these bullets have enough ass behind them to get through the bone or the teeth? Or would they just shrivel up and bounce off? And as an absolute worst case scenario, I brought out some tile, just your standard 1/4 inch tile, and it will be backed up by a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, just like we shot before. So let's see if any could go through some bone or teeth. Guys, one thing I forgot to say is do not try this at home. I felt a bunch of crap come back at me, and that was with the 22 LR. It's probably only going to get worse from here on out, but it shattered it pretty good. And what happened to the wood? Nice rhyme there. Let's see. Absolutely nothing, basically. Maybe a little bit of spalling hint into it, but basically nothing. Does the 25 ACP have what it takes? Just remember, even though the 25 ACP is small, it is using a jacketed bullet instead of that copper wash garbage that the 22 LR uses. So I'm thinking this means it might have a good chance. I don't know how to describe that sound. It's almost like if I were dropping one of my mom's nice plates. Not like I have any experience doing that, but anyway, that one had some more pop than the 22 LR. Does that mean it got to the plywood here? Really not any more than the 22 LR. I mean, there's a little bit more scuff marks, but maybe the 22 mag? Maybe. Based on previous testing, the box says FMJ, but I'm pretty sure it's more like a TMJ plated bullet. Not quite an FMJ, but still, I mean, it might do something. Yet again, it seemed like a lot more pop, although if the bullet is actually tumbling, that would be a lot more surface area impacting the tile, and I can already see. I mean, it scuffed it up a little bit more than the other cartridges, but definitely no signs of a bullet. Now we're starting to move up pretty substantially in grain weight with the 32 ACP. Does that actually mean anything though? Oh, we're starting to get a little drizzle coming on, and I definitely felt pieces come back on that one. So, let's see. Yep, it definitely, I mean, it scuffed it up quite a bit more than the other cartridges, but there was not a whole lot of damage. Let's see if the bullet is anywhere down in here. Oh, man, that is a big piece of jacket right there. That thing definitely got shredded apart. I don't have high hopes anymore, but I'll say maybe with the 380. And now everything's nice and wet. Perfect. I don't know if the stain is coming off these grips or what. I don't know what that pink stuff is. I would assume the stain on the grips. And now it's super bright. What is going on here? If you came for pop or plate shattering noises, you will not be leaving disappointed, especially if you're hearing it through Raycon earbuds. Guys, in case you don't know, I do all of the editing on these videos, and switching over to these earbuds here made it sound like the plates were almost right there. Plus, they also really amplified the bass in my voice, which I really wasn't aware that there was that much of. Just kidding, but usually when I'm editing, I have to ask everybody in the house to quiet down. But one of the main things that I noticed with these earbuds is the active noise cancellation that works quite well, actually. So there is a lot less tension in the house, luckily. Anyway, when I heard Bluetooth, I was a little bit worried about battery life, especially with editing and stuff like that. But you get a legitimate 32 hours on a full charge with these earbuds. And if I'm ever editing for a full 32 hours, just put me out of my freaking misery, please. Plus 10 minutes on the fast charger here will get you 90 minutes of listen time. So go check them out at buyraycon.com/bananaballistics to get up to 20% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 20% off everything at Raycon's website, including 20% off all headphones when you go to buyraycon.com/bananaballistics. And guys, it really helps out the channel. But if you came for performance, we are all disappointed with that one. Oh my gosh, there is, I don't know, I don't even know anymore. I don't know if there's any more damage or not. All I know is that the bullet did not hit it. Moral of the story, ceramic tile is quite the material, at least for one shot. And what I haven't told you up to this point is that I've been using FMJs, well, other than the 22. Anyway, the key to an effective pocket pistol, at least from what I've read online, is penetration. Question is, will any of them provide adequate penetration with an FMJ or even a hollow point on this ballistic gel? First up is a CCI mini mag. Really try and aim as low as possible so that we have room for all the other shots. But rule number one, do not trust the sights, and by that I mean the front sight post on those mini revolvers. I hit the block, but it smashed right into the table there. Nice devastation on the table. And then the second one also came in. It skimmed the bottom, but it pretty much stayed in the block the whole entire time. Let me get my tape measure real quick. You know what? Let me try that one more time. And by one time, I actually meant 2 times. I just cannot seem to get the orientation down because the first one exited right out the side, smacked the table right there. The second one, though, seemed to be a pretty decent shot, and we got a very decent wound channel. So the deepest point was right at about 11 3/8 inches, which is pretty impressive, but just keep in mind the wound channel's not the best, obviously. Maybe the Federal Punch will do better. Okay, I think I figured out the key to these ultra low shots right here. It's just to squat down as much as possible, and then I'm in line with it. So I think I got that figured out. But anyway, there's our hole right there. Definitely not getting anything in that. And check out our wound punch. Punch, more like brunch is what they're going to be having after they get shot with this thing. No, just kidding. But anyway, it's about the same size wound channel as the mini mag right here, and it came to the exact same point. Pretty expensive to be doing the same performance there, Punch. Speaking of expensive, we have the CCI uppercut. Remember when I said I had the aiming down with the mini revolver? Well, that was not the case. I think the first one came in a little low, and I believe it clipped the table down here, so I shot another one. Definitely good shot placement on that one. Okay, so the deepest point on one of them was right at 8 inches, and then the other one is about 7.5, maybe 7 3/8. So I mean, there really wasn't that big of a difference, even if it did hit the table. That is terrible performance compared to the other bullets. But we're forgetting one key point about the 22 LR, and that's that the bullets would still be bouncing around in the bad guy. Just kidding. Or am I? Check out this video here. Moving on to a 50 grain FMJ and 25 ACP. So So I shot the first one and I was like, man, did that really only go as deep, or I mean a little bit deeper than the 22 LR bullets there. So I shot another one and I think it may have partially intersected with the 22 LR bullet, or the uppercut bullet down there. Had a really good wound channel up till that point. It came to even less of a point right there. So I'm pretty sure that that one is an accurate measurement. I mean, it's like with an FMJ, it's not even going through 16 inches. That is freaking nuts. And to be even more precise about it, it is only going 12 inches at its deepest point. Wow. Based on those results, I do not have high hopes for the Federal Punch. I mean, they're basically just an FMJ with a little cone at the front, but who knows? Okay, we got a pencil. Holy shite balls. I didn't realize that we were already past the other 25 ACPs, but we keep going. And I think it tumbled in the second block there and left more of a wound channel than up front here, but man, that is the penetration I'm talking about. Right at about 20.5 inches. That is quite the upgrade over the standard FMJ. Onto our 22 Magnum FMJ though. So I shot the first one and I was like, man, that is a decent wound channel, and it went pretty deep, but then I was thinking, you know what, I've shot 2 FMJs with the other cartridges, so might as well keep the same pattern going. So I shot 2, they both veered out to the left. One actually hit me right on the hand, bounced off the wood, hit me right on the hand, and I didn't even realize what it was until I saw that the bullet exited the block. But the fourth shot here did about the same amount of damage, and it went almost as deep. So the deeper of the two went about 15.25 inches. I thought this was a 16-inch block, maybe on the other side, but anyway, the other one went about 14.75 inches, so pretty consistent performance there. Now how about a purpose-built gold dot? I realize that I'm going to need to flip the blocks around because there are just way too many shots in here, so I aimed high and holy shite balls did that thing perform. I mean, look at that wound channel, and that is quite a bit more than any of the other cartridges, but I mean, that must have been caused by tumbling or something, because that is definitely not a lot of expansion. So the absolute deepest point on that one was right at about 12.75 inches. That one might be my favorite so far. But we have a 73 grain FMJ and 32 ACP up next. Keeping the 2 shots of FMJ spirits going, I aimed low and then I aimed slightly higher. Let's see what the low one did down here. Decent wound channel. Oh, there's a little bounce. And oh man, it came somewhat deep into the second block. The higher one though came in, it left a decent wound channel. Once it got to about the 4-inch mark, it looks like it started opening up, or not opening up, but maybe tumbling or something. Came to about the exact same point, even though that one bounced. Man, the top one up here came to about the 19-inch mark, and then the bottom one came to about the 18.25-inch mark. Definitely the deepest penetration with FMJ so far. Moving on to our 71 grain hollow point offering. Here is our pencil. Kind of disappears. Pencil penetration till it exits the second block. Holy shite, that did not open up at all. The FMJs can't even penetrate that deep, but somehow the hollow point can. That doesn't even make sense. Okay, technically it came out about an inch before it made it past the second block, but still, I mean, like, what the hell is going on here? Hopefully the 95 grain FMJ 380s will do better. You gotta love the LCP Custom, but anyway, there are 2 shots, and let's check it out from the top. Okay, so here are 2 shots. They look very similar, just kind of mirror images of each other. Definitely decent wound channels, and they keep going. Taper off there, and keep going. They came to almost the exact same point right there. That is pretty impressive. Okay, so one came to about the 20-inch mark, and then the other one came to about the 21-inch mark. Well, maybe 20 and 15/16, I don't know. And finally, a 90 grain hollow point. Wow, that one left the biggest hole of the day, which, I mean, isn't saying much, but oh yeah, I can definitely get a lot more in that one. Anyway, let's check. Oh my. Now that is what a hollow point is supposed to do. Check out that wound channel right there. It keeps going, tapers off pretty quickly, and there is the bullet, which expanded like crazy. So the absolute deepest point before it pulled itself back was right at about 12 1/8 inches, and then the deepest point on the bullet there is about 10 3/4 inches, which is pretty impressive for the amount of damage that it did. But I mean, take that for what it's worth. I don't know if that's enough penetration for you or not. Anyway, I think it's pretty safe to say I will be sticking with the 380, even though it does produce the most recoil. I also tested the world's smallest concealed carry, even smaller than this 22 LR here, so if you want to see that one in action, make sure to click this video.